everybody. Today we're going to finish up Chapter 7. I know I told you we finished it up on Monday, but I got a little long-winded a little bit. So we'll finish it up today. As I said, Chapter 7 has a lot of stuff in it, but I'm really only kind of picking out a few aspects of it that I think are important. And then we'll move on to Chapter 8, which is social media information systems. Something I know you're all very familiar with, or most of you are very familiar with. We'll talk about, what are the aspects of it that apply to the business world. We'll talk about things called Web 2.0 and Enterprise 2.0, the way it can be used for advertising and also things like crowdsourcing. So we'll talk about that today, which I think is a little more interesting than Chapter 7. But Chapter 7, we said, we align information systems around processes. That's what we do in organizations, because we have to carry on some process. We have to register students. We have to grade things. So we align information systems that way. And we talked about the scope of information systems, what it covers. There are personal information systems, which means only concerning with me, my computer. Work group, also called departmental or functional, concerned with like a department or a function of the organization. There are enterprise that are enterprise, the whole organization. And then there's also inter-enterprise when they have to communicate. So we talked about that process, and we started talking about something called information silos, which is a good business word to know. What is an information silo? What is that term referring to? That's probably a good short answer for our last exam. What's an information silo? Katie? Yeah, a silo, in the traditional sense, you're right, is a storage facility for like on a farm and grain. When we say information silos, what the picture really kind of tries to convey is, no markers? No markers. What the picture tries to convey, oh, thank you. I have a couple red ones. What it tries to convey is the sense that these things are isolated, right? So we have, this is marketing, and maybe this is finance, and we have information systems that hold information, but they're not related. They're like silos next to each other. So data isolated islands of automation, we call that, different departmental goals. So hey, I don't care what's going on in finance. I'm the marketing department. I'll make sure our information system handles what I want to do. We have different personnel work group needs. But what happens is we run into problems with our data. We have data redundancy. We're storing the same information in two places, which leads to data integrity. We also know, the more we know about a customer, or the more we know about a thing, the better the decisions we can make. So we miss an opportunity. We miss an opportunity to understand the whole customer. So what did I say was a solution to this? What is a solution to this? So this is how organizations, a lot of organizations grew up. What is the solution to this? What are organizations have been moving to for years and years and years? More away from these legacy information silo systems to what? Okay, so you heard the term inherent processes, and what we say is there's a process that we go through, and it's called BPR. I always think of Pabst Blue Ribbon when I write BPR, but BPR stands for. They even make Pabst Blue Ribbon anymore? Those guys that drink it haven't all died yet, huh? Okay, so they still make Pabst Blue Ribbon. So BPR stands for Business Process Reengineering. Okay, Business Process Reengineering. Maybe you've seen this in maybe Mr. Eklund's class. I don't know if you guys talk about Business Process Reengineering in a management class. But what that is taking existing business processes. They're organized around our system, or maybe this department. I probably spelled engineering wrong. And we say, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of these walls between departments, and let's reorganize this, and let's build a system that goes across the whole enterprise. And we'll do things that make sense, okay? Things that make sense, not because we have these boundaries, but they just make sense in the process. We don't automate a process, we obliterate the process, and we create a process that makes sense. And the word Ms. Feeney used is part of business process reengineering. It's called, we look at what are inherent gold standard processes in an organization. what do we do when we get a bill? What's the best process to go through? Who should see it? Who doesn't need to see it? How fast can that happen? And the systems that we use to try to blow up these information silos, to get rid of these data integrity issues, to take advantage of all our organizational capacity, are called enterprise systems. And what was the type of enterprise system that I said any marketing person should know this term that we use for customers? Yeah, CRM. Okay, so that's an abbreviation, a prefix, or an acronym you should know. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management System, and it says instead of the center of this information system being the function, this is marketing, this is lead tracking, this is sales, this is support. The center of this system is the customer. So there's one system that tracks that customer through his or her entire life cycle. And we think about the customer life cycle, okay, it goes something like this. We market to the customer, we say, hey, make them aware of our product and the value added that we have. We generate leads from that process. Those, hopefully, some of those become customers. Those customers, some go on to other things. Some we want to win back, and some we don't. That's called customer churn. And a customer relationship management process tracks that whole thing. So we have one picture of the customer. Where did this customer come from? What kind of support issues did he or she have? What was their billing? Did they ever upgrade? Did they ever downgrade? All those things. When was the last service call? All this in one information system. Not like, hey, I have to re-enter this in another information system. I don't have access to that data. That's in another system. One information system that kind of paints the whole picture of the company, of the customer. I'm sorry. And that adds a lot of value. Okay, that adds a lot of value for us. So the other one that I want to kind of put on top of that is even a bigger system. And this is the last thing we'll talk about. It's something called ERP. And that's an acronym you should know as well. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Program. Okay, Enterprise Resource Program. It is a program or an information system that covers all the main components of an organization. And the reason this is, the way this works is, there's big vendors like PeopleSoft, I don't know if you've heard of PeopleSoft, or Oracle, or SAP, SAP. These are big players in the ERP arena. And what they say is, everyone has human resources, right? Almost all companies hire employees. Almost all companies, have some kind of inventory. Almost all companies have some kind of customer support, some kind of sales, some kind of solicitation, some kind of accounting, some kind of finance needs. So let's build an integrated system. It's huge, they're huge, that deals with all of those aspects. It's like a mega system that deals with these common components of an organization. This eliminates information silos. Okay, this totally eliminates, because now we have one system that handles all these processes. It's integrated together. There's one central repository, one central database, if you will. So information isn't redundant. There's no data integrity issues. What do you think some of the issues are with her? What do you think some of the issues are with her? One big system. What do you think an issue might be with that? Okay, well, that's true. We're relying on one big system, but implementation-wise, it's huge, right? It's huge. It's a huge implementation, because think about it. If we're taking, hey, marketing has a system, they do this. Finance has a system, they're doing this. Accounting has a system, they're doing this. Inventory has a system, they're doing this. And we say, the hell with all those. This one system is going to replace all those things. It's going to be integrated. It's going to work well together. It's going to have inherent processes that are the gold standard, the one best way to do things. That can be a very, very, very complicated implementation. It can take years. Okay, it can take years. It can be a very, very tricky process. And there's a lot of details on here of how exactly it works. I don't really want to go into all those things. I do want you to understand a few things. I want you to understand from this chapter what information silos are, okay, why they occur, what the downfall of them is, the various scopes of information systems. I also want you to understand what CERM and ERP is. They're enterprise-wide systems, that aren't geared toward a function or a department. Okay, so those are the key takeaways from chapter 7. Go ahead.
What was the main issue with ERP?
ERP is
The main issue with it.
The main issue is it's big and complex, okay? So that leads to a couple issues. First of all, it's hard to install something, implement something that's big and complex. It changes all your processes. Your processes are kind of tied to the enterprise resource. So it's not just like installing a new system, it's changing like all our procedures. So you remember we talked earlier on this class, I don't know, maybe we did, about something called, people don't like to change. We called it organizational inertia. Organizational inertia, things that are in motion, or rest, tend to stay at rest. People are the same way, right? Why do I need to change? So changing all the procedures is very difficult, okay? Usually it makes things more efficient in the long run, more effective in the long run, but it's hard to get there. It takes years to get there sometimes. So that's the big issue with her.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to chapter 8, okay? And I'll look to you guys to contribute more in chapter 8 because, we're talking about something that you should be familiar with. And we're talking about social media information systems. So someone tell me, what is social media? You guys all use social media. Most of you use social media. What is social media? What is social media and social media information systems? What is it? I'm sure you can give me an example of it. Matt?
It's like communicating over the internet, such as like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Okay, communicating over the internet's part of it, right? What do they call a social media network? So what's the network kind of imply? What's the key with social media information systems? What do they allow you to do? Your communicate is right, but what else? We have communication or collaboration systems, but these are a little different. Social media systems are a little bit different. Yes?
You like connect to people?
Connecting, okay? They allow you, the connecting is the key. They allow you to share content, right? Either what content, like pictures, your comments, videos. They allow you to share your resume, pictures, whatever it might be. Allow you to share content with a community, okay? A community. And sometimes, and there's a lot of words that are being used for communities, but sometimes they're called communities, sometimes they're called tribes, sometimes they're called hives in the information systems world. But that's what all social media information systems are about. Allowing you to connect to people, to build a community, multiple communities actually, and then share content within your community, within your hive, within your tribe, okay? So if you think about it, name some social media information systems. Name some social media information systems that you may use. Obviously,
Facebook.
okay. Twitter is kind of one, right? It's kind of one and it's kind of not one. It actually, when Twitter came out, they said they're a micro-blogging site. You know what a blog is, right? They said they're a micro-blog. So instead of writing these like Dear Diary posts, blog, it's a 140-character micro-blogging site. But it has kind of morphed into that a little bit, where you follow people and that's kind of like building your community, and there's list structure. So it's not the classic, but I would put it, yes, in the social media information systems realm. What else? What are some others?
MySpace.
Facebook, MySpace, holy cow. That's as dead as past blue ribbon, I think, isn't it? Okay. LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is geared toward building career kind of communities, right? Facebook is a big one. I'm trying to think of others. I wouldn't say Yik Yak is one, right? Because you can share content, but you're really just sharing it to, I guess you could say you're sharing it to like a local community, right? A geographic community. But it doesn't have some of the features that some of the others might have. Google Plus is a social media information system. So all these kind of things are social media information systems. And when we look at these things, what we try to do is we try to break them down, okay? So social media is use of IT to support content sharing among networks of users. Enables communities, tribes, or hives, okay? Those are just synonyms. People related by a common interest. So you have friends, but also does like a Facebook build a community? How else does it build a community? Besides, let's think of the organizations that may be in your community. So you have friends, you have a friend network, obviously. What else? Do you have any kind of relationships with an organization? Yes?
Or like groups.
Katie,
What
you
group
good?
should we join?
Very good. Like, give me a group, Katie.
Well, like events too, so like if somebody like made an event for like the Midnight Madness tomorrow for basketball, then people would join that.
Okay, you can RSVP those kind of things. But you can have groups like, St. Francis University alumni group, right? And now we're all part of that group. So maybe I'm not your friend, but we're both part of that community, right? We're both part of that St. Francis University alumni community. Maybe as well, you can like a page, like, sometimes they say that your friend and three of your friends liked Patch Blue Ribbon, okay, Facebook page, right? So that's a community, not a real hard community, but people who like Patch Blue Ribbon is a community, right? So you're not just in one community, you kind of join many, many communities. And social media's information system supports sharing of content among networks of users. Now, there's a lot of convergence of disciplines that happen with social media. Because we're in an MIS class, I'm going to focus on more of the technology aspect. But let's talk about the rules that occur in social media information systems. The first thing is we have the user communities. That's you, okay? That's me. These are the people that have a Facebook profile, that put a LinkedIn page up, all those things. They have a G+ page. That is you. That is me. There's also the social media site, which is supported by the horizontal social media application provider, which are the Facebooks, the LinkedIns, the Twitters, the Foursquare. I think that's pretty much dead too, right? Can't have Foursquare. Heard of it. Hang on. You guys know what Foursquare is? You don't even know what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. It's pretty much died a death though, it sounds like. Foursquare allows you to check into places, and then if you checked in a lot, you could become mayor. You guys have never heard of that? Like, yeah, I was mayor of SCOTUS for a period of time in my life. But I haven't used it for a long time myself. You ever use it, Ann? Okay. Were you mayor of anything?
No,
No. All
I
right.
use it very briefly.
Yeah, I think it's died. Okay. So I don't even know why it's in this book anymore, but Foursquare, I think it still exists, but it's not highly used. Okay, so those are the providers, right? And then we also have sponsors, okay? Sponsors are organizations that kind of go out there and put something that say they want you to connect to, right? Zulily, Microsoft, REI, Nordstrom, St. Francis University School of Business has a Facebook page. St. Francis University alumni, maybe the St. Francis lacrosse team has a page, right? But those are what we call sponsors. They put out pages and they hope to try to build these communities. And as I mentioned earlier, you aren't just in one community, right? You're not just your one community is your friends, but you're also in other communities, right? And that is the power of this. That it's just not one thing. It's hierarchical. It's viral in nature. So user 4 might be in community A with user 3, 2, and 1, but they're also in community E with users 11 and 7. And it's not just two communities. There could be 10 of these things, right? And the amount of overlap you have with someone in communities might be, how close of a relationship you have with them. Me and my wife are probably in a lot of the same communities. So these are the kind of things that we talk about. Now, social media application providers, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google. Do you pay for social media? As a user, do you pay? All right? However, if we look at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google, and some people do pay for LinkedIn Premium. I don't know if anyone has LinkedIn Premium. You can see who looked at your profile and do some different searching. So there are people that pay for LinkedIn Premium. But generally speaking, these are free. Okay. Do you even pay when you set up a Facebook page, when you become a sponsor? You don't. Okay. Well, how does Facebook? How does Google? How do these providers, because for sure they have an investment in the infrastructure, they do the programming, they have server farms, there's money there. How do they make money? Right?
Through ads.
Okay, through targeted advertising, right? So if you're allowed to put up a page, but a lot of times they say, hey, do you want to boost this, right? Do you ever put up a page or anything like that? And they say, you want to boost this post? We can advertise it to people. We can have it show up. And what the great thing about, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but what's the great thing about social media advertising as compared to me putting up a billboard on 219, or me putting an ad in the Tribune Democrat?
It's free.
Probably. No, it's not free. Okay, it's not free. What?
Like, you can reach a greater market out.
Okay, you can. And what else though? What else about it though that's really great about it? Because if I put up a billboard on 219, who sees that? I-99 or where? Just the what?
Just people that like.
Randos, there you go, all right, okay, just the randos here, right? That's a good word. We don't know who the hell's in it. Anyone that drives on I-99. It can be anyone 16, it can be 99-year-olds, it can be male, it can be female, it can be people interested in my product, it can be people who don't care about my product, right? Very random. But Matt, what's the difference with social media?
They take what you've looked at in the past and what they think that you like, and they gear your ads towards what things that they think.
Very good. So they can tell social media sponsors, we'll show your ad, but we're not just going to show your ad blindly. We'll show your ad to people in these 3 counties of Pennsylvania that are between the ages of 18 and 25 that have liked an indie pop band. Okay, something to that effect, right? They can do that. So now they don't get John Miko because they know John Miko is not interested in their product. But they do get Ian, who may be interested in their product, right? It's much more targeted type of advertising. So that's where their fees are. So they're willing to pay a higher fee because they think they better get a better return on their investment. And we'll talk about some of the logistics of that, okay? Some of the logistics of that. I want to show you a neat little tool, and if you have your laptop, you can get it out, and we can look at it as well. You can do this with me. If you go to a search engine, and it's called a mathematical search engine, it's called Wolfram Alpha. Has anyone used Wolfram Alpha to maybe cheat on their algebra homework at any point? Yes? No? Ever heard of it, Dominic? No? Go to Wolfram Alpha for me. Pretty neat little thing. Ugly name, isn't it? Wolfram Alpha. Yeah, it's a geek name for sure. And I'll just show you how this works to start. Let's say if I put in, it's a mathematical search engine, so I put in x plus 5 equals 25, okay? Well, it's going to, x is 20, but, maybe if you're in 5th grade, you can't get that. So I hit enter, and it's a mathematical search engine, and what it'll do is it'll solve that equation for me. Well, first it graphs it, gives me an alternative form, then you see a solution. X is equal to 20. If I did something like, if I did something like, I don't want to spend that much time on this, but let's say x squared plus 5 equals 30. That might be a little harder for us to solve, but it will take about the same amount of time. And it'll come back and say, here's the graph of that function, and the 2 solutions are x is equal to -5 and x is equal to +5. That's all nice, but it has a high-end mathematical processor in the cloud, right? That processing that just occurred, you noticed it went to like a little, looked like a little cloud thing. It was happening in the cloud. It was happening in their server farm. What I want to show you is they developed this a couple years ago, and I don't know if anyone had the opportunity to run it, but type in Facebook report. And I know some of you do not have Facebook, but if you do have Facebook, type in Facebook report, and you should come up to this screen. You guys with me? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then say, analyze my Facebook data. Now you're going to have to sign in to your Facebook. You're going to have to give it access to your Facebook. So I will do that. And I'm going to click Generate My Report. And what you'll see is it goes to your Facebook page through an API, something called an API, and it analyzes all the aspects of your, not public profile, but your Facebook profile, okay? So it comes back, and there's some neat things in here. It's taking some time here.
It won't work
until you do what?
Create an account.
Huh. I must have a Wolfram Alpha account. Well, you can look at mine now, okay? It's worth doing. It's pretty neat. I'll show you what it does. So this is on me. There's my birthday. That's how old I am. That's my next birthday. There's my hometown. I haven't been very active on Facebook anymore. I've kind of given up on it. But here are, here's my types of activity, my posted link, my uploaded photos, my statuses based on my last 24 activities. This shows me, when I'm active, days of the week, and also times of the day, so a little graph there. It tells me how long my average posts are. It's a word cloud. The word cloud is the most common word I use is like congratulations, Miko, year, old, play, things like that. My most liked post ever was golfing today with Dr. Fry, Dr. McElnay, and Dr. Logue. So that was my most liked post. I think it was my most liked picture. These are the top commenters on my thing. So this is my mother-in-law. This is my mother. This is a friend of the family. This is a professor over in OT. That's my wife. Top post sharers. That's my wife. That's Mr. Tonkin. Mr. Tonkin. I don't check in on Facebook much, but if I did, it'd show me where everything I was at. Here's my owned albums, my most liked photo, people tagged in that photo, Randy Fry. My friends' genders, so looks like my friends are 61% male and only 40% female. My friends' relationship statuses, looks like a lot of my friends are married. That's probably going to be different on your pie chart. I imagine the single, the green one, will be much more prevalent on your Facebook chart. I'm glad they don't have It's Complicated, but these are people in a relationship. Distribution, these are the ages of my friends. So you see I have a lot around my age, and I have a very few that are very old. She just made up that. I'm sure she's not 109 years old. I taught her. But he is actually 72 years old, and that's my son. He is actually 14 years old. Here are my friends' locations. So it shows you around the world where my friends are, and obviously Northeast is big. I have some international friends, but not a whole lot. These are the number of mutual friends that I have friends with the most mutual friends. So LPJ Russ, Russ is friends with probably 5,000 people, has 131 common friends of me. Lance Hudak, that's a guy from Portage I know. That's my sister. That's my boss. That's someone I graduated with. That's someone from Portage. So you see those kind of things. What I think is really nice is it gives you a network. And you notice the colors of these networks are a little bit different, okay? And each of these dots represents one of my friends. And you can clearly see clusters, right? Remember I said I'm not just part of one community, I'm parts of a lot of communities. All these dots over here, these are like people I graduated with. These are like people from the Portage area that I graduated with. That's someone I graduated with. That's my son. These are like friends and family. Those kind of that's that cluster. These purple dots, okay. These are there's LPG Russ. There's a former student, Robert Orton. There's Glenn. He's a former student. There's Matt Boffman, former student. So this is like my St. Francis University network. And down here, these are be like my previous life. These are people, that's not who that is. But these are people like Steve Oswald. I used to work with him in finance in my previous job. So this is that network. And these are kind of outliers. They're not like connected to any of my other networks somehow. This is, this guy, that's John Miko. He's a guy that friended me. He's an Australian John Miko. And he lives a crazy, wicked life. He's always like climbing mountains. He's like 56, I think. He's always like climbing mountains, and he's crazy. I love this guy.
You accepted him?
Oh sure, yeah. We're good friends now. I mean, we talk. Yeah. I mean, we because it's kind of crazy. He has my sister's named Amy. I think he has a daughter named Amy. He has a son named Luke. I have a son named Lucas. And if he ever gets to the States, we're going to get together. So.
Quite a lifetime movie.
What's that?
Sounds like a lifetime.
I'm sure it's not that good, but yeah, he lives a great life. I don't know who this is, but these are like outliers of my relationship. So these are color coder friends, and what's kind of neat is that you can color code them by like who's liking my stuff like a lot. So I can say color by number of likes, and looks like dark red means they're a high liker of Miko stuff. So let's see, there's Bardale, he used to teach here, Dr. Garcia, Mr. Eklund, he's all over Facebook. He posts like wicked, like 7 or 8 times a day. These are people that don't really care for my business. John Miko. List of friends, these are the list of friends and their likes. My sister, 18 likes. Maggie, Dr. Garcia, 17 likes. So what it can kind of show us, and this is, you think about this, this is what they've chose to show me, but they have all that information available. So they not only know, you said, well, they know what you like, and they know how old you are, for sure. But what they also know is they know, where I was in my life and who I was with in my life. They know I work at St. Francis now, and these are the people that are close to me at St. Francis. They know, my previous job, these are the people I still keep in contact with, and they're still commenting on my things. And they know these are the, my high school friends that I'm still kind of commenting on. So they can build these algorithms and models to not only say, like, hey, this is what John Miko has said he likes, but he's also close friends with these people, and they like this. So, if you're close friends with people that are like you or share common interests, so they can market to you not just based on what you've expressed, but what your friends have expressed. So think about that. Think about the powerful nature of that advertising model that can come through. And a couple other things, that these communities can do because of the relationship of the communities. We can have, and don't worry about the five structures, but we can generate something called, as an organization, something called a viral hook. Okay? What is a viral hook? What do you think a viral hook is? And virus is a bad name, but viral hook. What do you think a viral hook is? There was a great, one of probably the most epic viral hook happened this summer. Annoyingly enough, which was for a good cause, but still annoying.
Is it kind of something that's like goes contagious and like everyone kind of gets hooked on it?
Very good. And a lot of times they do that. How do sponsors do that? For a lot of times they'll say retweet this with hashtag blah blah blah, right? I don't know if you saw St. Francis tried to do a viral hook. I don't think it went too well. Did you see those tags on things that said SFU Tag Day? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was for so the donor made this possible. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then you were supposed to retweet it with SFU. I was going to do it because I'm thinking you could win a gift card. And I'm like, participation is pretty damn low, I think. But I have a good chance of winning. But I didn't even do it, even though I was going to be very mercenary about it. So they tried to generate a viral hook. They said, if I retweet it with that SFU tag, then all of my 300 followers will see that. Maybe 10 of them will retweet that. And then their 300 followers, and now I'm at, 3,000 people, and it goes, it's like a virus, exactly as you said, like patient zero starts here and goes forever. And social media sponsors try to have you do that. Like if you follow, maybe, an alcohol, like a vodka, they're like, what's your favorite recipe? And you post and maybe retweet, whatever it might be, and then other people see that and they hope it goes viral. What was the most successful non-profit viral hook in a long, long time? I don't know, I'm saying it's the most successful. It happened this summer. Yeah, that Ice Bucket Challenge was fantastic, right? Because they actually built in the viral hook. What was the viral hook nature of it? So not only did you put it on your social media, but what was the hard viral hook that, yes?
That you had to tag 3 people.
You challenge, right? It's a pyramid, not a pyramid scheme, but it's a pyramid, right? You say I challenge 3 people, maybe 2 of those people do it, you just double it, yes? And it was amazing, and I saw the woman spoke who really came up with the idea. Fantastic idea, fantastic use of those kind of things. So a viral hook is what you can reach unprecedented amounts of people in a very quick time for very low money, right? For very low money. So a lot of times they try to entertain, they try to be amusing. because those kind of things can go through very quick. Social media information systems, though, are not free. Okay, there are costs to develop, implement, and manage social networking procedures. You know, if I'm a social media sponsor, I need to have someone that keeps up with that content. I need someone to respond to maybe tweets to my page if they're having issues. You can't just let them go unanswered. You have to say, you know, we'll reach out to you and we'll help you. So there's direct labor costs for employees who contribute to and who manage social networking sites. There are costs to this, even though setting up the page might be free. A couple other things, a couple other terms that we want to go through. So there is a structure called the hypersocial organization theory, and they talk about two users of social media, two types of users of social media. The first one are called defenders of belief. Okay, defenders of belief, and these are people that share a common belief. They seek conformity. They want to convince others. They facilitate activities like sales and marketing. They form strong bonds and allegiances to an organization. So this would be a person who, you know, would say they like a page, they like a product page, and they want you to know that they like the product page. You know, they want you to know that this is an awesome, these beats, you know, are awesome, whatever it might be. These are defenders of belief. They want to be with people, you know, Android is better than iOS, okay? They seek conformity, okay? How can organizations use those people? How can organizations, I don't want to say use those people, but leverage those people? How can enterprises leverage those people? Through social media. How can enterprises leverage these defenders of belief through social media? How do they leverage them? Yes?
Doesn't Facebook like make certain things pop up on their page, like on their newsfeed? So then they're more inclined to share it and stuff.
Okay. I'm thinking though, like say I'm okay, St. Francis University School of Business, yes? And you join my page, right? Because you're St. Francis University School of Business. And maybe you like the St. Francis University School of Business. So you are in that group. You are, you know, a defender of belief. You believe it was a good experience, all those things. So how might I leverage that? How do I, you know, maybe leverage that to ask you to convince others of that? Yes?
Write a review.
Okay, maybe I ask you, you know, to write a review to the page, right? What was your experience like at St. Francis University, right? I want you to do that. I want you to share that with your friends. That's one way we do it, right? And a lot of times, and we want the positive reviews. We want these defenders of beliefs. We want these people that are part of our group to kind of spread the word. The most powerful form of advertising is always, and it always has been and always will be, what? What is the most powerful form of advertising? Go ahead, Katie, you said it. Word of mouth, right? Because you trust someone and they say, this guy was good, or this was a good experience for me and I enjoyed this experience. That's still the most powerful face-to-face word of mouth. But when we go with social media word of mouth, it's almost akin to that, right? So you say I had a great experience. Maybe there's a, you know, there's a senior girl at your high school that looks up to you as an athlete and a person, and she said, well, if Christina had a good experience there, maybe I'll have a good experience there, or your niece or something like that. So they can use that, and that's not just for, you know, St. Francis University. That's for a lot of things. We try to leverage those kind of things. So the second type is seekers of truth. These are people that join social media information systems or communities looking to learn something. And this happens a lot more in, I would say, not Facebook, but more so in like LinkedIn. I'm in like the project management group, right? I want to see information about, you know, learning about project management, or, you know, maybe I want to learn information about networking opportunities in Big Four consulting firms. You know, so there's groups for that. Or if I'm on Twitter, maybe I follow a certain person because they post a lot of information about something I'm interested in, right? It's not that I want to create a friendship, or, you know, not that but there's something that I want to learn from them, right? They have some knowledge that they share on Twitter intermittently that I want to learn from. So those are like the two, in this hyper-organizational theory, these are the two main groups, okay? So let's talk about another concept. Your book doesn't do a fantastic job with this, but it leaves some things out here. But we're going to talk about a concept called Web 2.0, which led to Enterprise 2.0. Does ever hear Web 2.0? Paul, you remember Sean O'Reilly? Soccer player?
Yeah, we actually saw him in Lebanon.
Okay. His uncle is Tim O'Reilly, and I know that probably doesn't mean anything to you, but there's a company called O'Reilly Media Publishing. They publish a lot of technical books, and he's like a big guy, big shot in the tech world. Because he told me that once. I'm like, yeah, your uncle's not O'Reilly, Tim O'Reilly, and he is. But he actually coined this term, Web 2.0. So he's kind of a famous guy. Like, and Sean told me that when he went to his niece's wedding, Larry Page was there, one of the founders of Google was there. So this guy's high up, right? So anyways, Tim O'Reilly coined this phrase, Web 2.0. And what it means is, the first version of the web or the internet was mostly like brochure pages. It was mostly like you put out a page and here's some information, and maybe you could buy something, right? It wasn't like sharing. It was about, hey, here's my store, come on in. It was like trying to emulate what happens in the physical world in, the online world. This is Walmart.com. This is Bluebaloo.com. And Web 2.0 said, let's take it to another level. And it wasn't like something he came up with. It was a phrase that he coined. Okay. And Web 2.0 is known for a couple things. Okay. Web 2.0 is known for a couple things. It is highly social. Okay, so if we think about it, and someone mentioned it a little bit, how does Amazon use its community to help support its business? How does Amazon use its community to help support its business? And we talked about like those defenders of belief. How do they use their community to help support their business? What's one thing they do? They allow this community to generate content, help other customers. What do? Well, if you think about Amazon, they have their review section, right? And they aren't going in there and deleting the bad reviews, right? They're not censoring them at all. They're asking people to honestly say what they think about this product. And they honestly also add things like, here's the issue I experienced with this product, here's how you might be able to fix it. And they made it searchable, all those kinds of things, right? Amazon reviews is a good example of highly social. And you can even say this review was helpful to me. So you can vote up that review. You guys know what I'm talking about? Or you can say this review was not helpful. And then they show the most helpful review, most helpful positive review, and the most helpful negative review. So that you can kind of get a sense of this thing. They've even, and I don't know, maybe you guys have had the experience, I buy a lot of things from Amazon.com. They'll occasionally send me an email saying, hey, customer ABC has a question about this product. You bought this product. Can you help him answer this question? And they say, so they put me in touch with them. Like, I usually don't respond to it, but if you do respond to it, they give you like a credit. Like if I answer, or maybe Earl has a question about something I bought, they'll give me an Amazon credit. So what they've done is also known as something called crowdsourcing. You guys ever hear the term crowdsourcing? It's a flavor of crowdsourcing. What is crowdsourcing? It is a characteristic of Web 2.0. What is crowdsourcing? You guys know what outsourcing is? What's outsourcing? Let's talk about that first. What's outsourcing? If I outsource a function, yes?
Using external materials or...
Yeah, let's say I outsource this class. So I'm paid to teach this class, but I hire someone to come in and do it for me, right? If I outsource, like we run our own email system. We run Novell group-wise email system here. If we outsourced it, maybe we'd outsource it to Gmail and say Gmail runs our email, right? That's an outsourced kind of situation. Crowdsourcing is we say, a function that's usually derived or usually internal, something we usually do internal, we're going to let the crowd do it for us, let community do it for us. I think I used this example in class maybe already. During the Super Bowl, Doritos always has commercials, right? You guys, during the Super Bowl, Doritos commercials. Who generates those commercials? You guys know the story behind those? Yeah, people submit concept ideas for commercials, and they pick the best one. So I'm sure Doritos has maybe outsourced to an advertising firm, and that advertising firm maybe consists of, 10 to 50 people. But Doritos says, hey, let's outsource this to everyone on our social media page. Whoever comes with the best idea, I don't know, we'll give $100,000 or whatever it is, and then we'll generate that commercial. So now we don't just have 10 people, creativity of 10 people, we have creativity of all these people. Do you guys know what I'm saying? So what Amazon does is they say they can't hire enough people to write all the reviews and all the specs of all their things, but people gladly do it. People gladly answer other people's questions for maybe, $1 credit, where it would cost us, $15, $25, $50 an hour to hire that employee. We could actually do this outside. Another good example of crowdsourcing is Netflix. One of Netflix's biggest competitive advantages is the fact that it recommends movies based on movies you like, right? It says, hey, you like these 3 movies, so we think you'll really like this movie. Well, there's an algorithm behind that, okay? They made a data set public. They de-identified it. They took off all the names. They made it public, and they said, if anyone can improve our suggestion algorithm by more than 10%, we'll give you $1 million. They gave them $1 million. There was a team of like 5 people, one was from MIT, one was from Stanford. They came together, they improved this algorithm by more than 10%, they got $1 million. Now that research and development may have cost Netflix internally tens of millions of dollars, but they outsourced it, they crowdsourced it. Does that make sense? So because we have social media, we can do that. We are, as you guys know, we're refurbishing Schwab Hall, right? So if we just keep it to the faculty, we say, hey, the 10 faculty members, what are your ideas for Schwab Hall? Maybe we missed something. So what would be a good idea is maybe we should put something on our school business Facebook page and say, what do you think we should do? What do you think we should do with Schwab Hall? Do you think we should have this aspect of Schwab Hall? I think we shouldn't have this aspect. All right, so I can see by your faces we're running out of time. We'll leave off here. So we'll leave off talking about Web 2.0 and Enterprise 2.0. We will do a social media case study as part of this chapter because we want to really impress upon you how organizations use social media. More so than ever, okay? More so than ever.